We did a Summit 101 class where we talked about a whole bunch of different things. What we're going to do now is we're going to give some of them an opportunity to share.
Hi, I'm Jenny Erikson. I joined the church because I like is it your mission statement? Is that what you call it? We are a church of people who have questions, who crave community, who long to love like Jesus, a place for you. And just all those things checked all the boxes for me. And I like that nobody here has to fit in any certain box or any certain social norm, but everybody can just be themselves, and there's just such a atmosphere of sincerity and acceptance and vulnerability and just honesty, and I just feel really welcome here, so thank you.
I'm Annette Dell, and I came because we were invited, but what I found was it was a way for me to change in my own service, in my own finding my faith. And now I kind of want to stay. So that's why I'm going to be the two-headed monster of churches. And I'm taking a dual membership, which is meaning to me that I still can be in my church, but I can also serve in your church. And so that's why I'm here.
My name's Tyler Weishahn. And Tim asked us to pick a question to answer, and I think by the time I'm done rambling here, it might answer most of them. But no, hey, or we'll just burn the place down and we'll all run. So I have been compelled by the story of Jesus for years, and just involved in many different ministries and things over the years, trying to kind of work out that faith journey and what God's love looks like through all of us. And sorry about that. And I think over the years it's just been like interesting to see like all the different ways that God has shown up, that the Holy Spirit has shown up, and in all of those different things that I've been involved with, experiences that I've had, mission work, yada yada yada, local communities. There's pieces, that you take from that, and just like you see the body of Christ and all of that. And so this church in particular, for me, like right now, is just really exemplifies the love of Christ, and it's a place I want to continue to experience and search that out here as I follow Jesus. I did want to share a verse, I guess, in reference to that. It's from Ephesians 3. And it says, "And I ask him that with both feet planted firmly on love, you'll be able to take in with all followers of Jesus the extravagant dimensions of Christ's love. Reach out and experience the breadth, test its length, plumb its depths, rise to its heights. Live lives full in the fullness of God." And I just see a lot of that in this church, and I want to be a part of that.
I'm Ryann Johnson, and I don't trust myself to speak off the cuff, so here we go. I think there were many individual events that led up to us attending church here. There were many seeds that were planted over the years. We've lived here since 2013. I remember after we first moved here, Nelson invited us to come to church here at least once, maybe several times, but it was never pushy. We often attended your trunk or treat, which was just super fun and low pressure. And then I met Pastor Tim as we were and still are serving on the board for Mother to Mother. After work one Sunday morning at the Holiday Inn, I was driving home, and I had the radio on Queeby, and I heard this awesome sermon. Well, it turns out it was Tim. I think I sat in the driveway until it was over. I couldn't stop listening to it. So eventually, we made it to an in-person service and met all of you wonderful people here. You were all so supportive when I was battling breast cancer earlier this year. So that was amazing. I'm here today to show that I'm committed back to you as part of the church body. And finally, the last thing that brought me to church here is just with all of the divisiveness in the world today, it was just so nice to find a group of Christ followers that were committed to peace.
Hello, my name is Marcia McCabe, and I, like Annette, was invited here, and I have to say, with the invitation, I was one that was kicking and screaming, say I will never go to another church because my home church is in Holmesville. But after I came and I met you people, and you have children that Lyric can go to Sunday school with, I really felt welcome here, and so I too am going to become a dual member. And so I didn't want to go into all those questions, so I chose my favorite Bible verse. And I know people from the Church of the Brethren will know it well, because Mary Beth used to end with this. And I, like her, I love the book of Isaiah. I read it to myself all the time, and the verse is Isaiah 55, verse 12. You will live in joy and peace. The mountains and hills will burst into song, and the trees of the field will clap their hands.
Hi, I'm Andrew Dungan, and this was a pretty easy question for me, really. Alicyn and I haven't been interested in joining a church for some time, but when Tim asked me, Alicyn and I sat down and I started thinking about why it was important for me. And the real thing is that when you don't have children, you don't think about what's important for children. And in fact, I've always found children sort of noisy and sometimes annoying until I had my own. And then when we started to come here, and Tim and the congregation just made it open for our children to be able to be here. And it was important that Alicyn and I find a church and a body that wasn't overly churchy, where our kids could learn about nature and about connecting to God in that way. And when we came here and the church was open, and we could sit in the back row and have our cooler full of food for our children, and they could run back and forth, and Emberly could look at books, and they go outside and pick flowers and learn about quilting. All those things are important for the Christian faith, and they're not overly churchy, and that's really what we wanted for our children. And so I really thank you guys for creating a welcoming, opening community for our children so they could grow up.
I'm Alicyn Dungan. I had some of the same things that Andrew was going to say, but I just wanted to start off with that my mom was Mennonite, so I kind of grew up in the Mennonite church, going to their VBS programs on the summer time, and I always really enjoyed that. My grandparents were Mennonite. They went to the country church. So the Mennonite church always held a special place in my heart. We got married in the Mennonite church, actually, 18 years ago. And so, it's always been kind of in our blood or in my blood. And then we've had some bad experiences with some churches. I grew up Lutheran, and so that's very different than the Mennonite church. Very liturgical, which there's nothing wrong with that, but kind of where I fit in now after searching with having children and kind of experiencing a lot of different things, taking a lot of pieces along the way of what I want and desire for our children and for myself is there's just a lot of beauty and simplicity, just being together and not having to perform or feeling like you have to be a certain way. And I think that's really what drew me to this church and why we really like coming here. And like Andrew said, it's just not very churchy. We just really like the simplicity of love and connection and nature and community and what that means. And what that looks like, because that's not modeled everywhere all the time right now, and that's really important, I think, on what that kind of functionally looks like as a community and what that means to love each other.
Hi, I'm Beth Weishahn. I think I'm the last person. Oh, sorry if I jumped in line ahead of you. I've been trying to think about kind of what I wanted to say, and sometimes I tend to ramble. I talk a lot, so I'll try to keep it short and simple. Alicyn just talked about beauty and simplicity, and for me, that's one of the things that kind of draws us here as well. When I think about who Jesus is and who he's been to me throughout my life, just the truth. Jesus is the truth, the way, the life. And it seems like everything else aside of that can just kind of fade away. And that's one thing I like about this community. You guys are warm, welcoming. Avery can run up to the stage and no one seems to be really bothered by that. And this is a community like that has always been something that I've been looking for, because there aren't any pretenses or additional rules that get added along the way. And I know this people, imperfect people, we tend to do that, add rules about what we think things should look like. But in reality, loving Jesus and loving each other are things that I want to just strive for at a very basic and simple level. And when I participate with this community of people, I feel like that's what we're all kind of striving to do. So thank you for being so welcoming to me, to Tyler, to Avery, and being patient with her too as she kind of meanders around the congregation. We love how welcoming and wonderful you guys have been to us. So thank you for that.
I'm Lowell Dell, and I'm not last because I have the most profound. I'm last because I was sitting off the side and everybody else was prepared. I've been in church all my life. I have thought that it was important all my life. I've tried to conduct myself in a way that would say it was important in my life. But there are a couple of things I'd like to share. From the 14th chapter of John, I think it is, Jesus had a statement that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. Man, if I just read that by itself, it sounds so restrictive. Man, you got to fit a close place. Is what it sounds like to me. It certainly gives me a different flavor than what I hear, what I read on the face of the bulletin each week. Now, I can't even quote it, but the statement of 4 or 5 things that are listed there that says, man, you can come and share who you are. You can be who you are, and we'll grow together. That's in essence what it's saying. I've thought about what seemed restrictive to me in the passage from John, and I think about 2 things that give me a little insight into what maybe it really means, as opposed to what my mind goes to first. And there's 2 scriptures, one where Jesus shares that inasmuch as you, I can't quote it exactly, but inasmuch as you do unto the least of these, however you treat the least important is how you treat me. Why would that be? And I think, it's because the least important people get our honest, real treatment. That's who we are. We don't have to dress it up for them. We dress it up for the people who are important, who are powerful above us. And that really says who we are. And so it says how you treat those people says who you really are. And what was the other one I was going to share? Darn it. It was real profound, I can tell you. It really was. No, I just think those kinds of things help give us some insight into how that statement on the face of the bulletin says we are to be and what we're about.